All right, let's get started. Welcome to episode 15 of Masti with Satvik Saini. Tonight, I have one of my oldest friends joining me, Sai from Colorado. I mean, we've known each other for, I think, 12, 13 years now. And he's from Longmont as well, our hometown. And today, I'm bringing him on to talk about the latest Netflix show, Indian Matchmaking, which is all about Indian arranged marriages happening in India and other places throughout the world. So now, I have my boy Sai join.
What's up, dude?
Sai, welcome to the show, bro. How are you?
Good, man. How you been?
Good, good. You dressed up for this. I love it.
I didn't dress up, but okay.
All right, dude. Tell me. Well, first and foremost, actually, a shout out before we get into the show. Today is Happy Raksha Bandhan, a festival that a lot of us celebrate in India. A lot of Hindus do. So happy Raksha Bandhan to everyone, all the brothers and sisters out there. Before we get started, but
Yeah,
now,
happy Rocky to everybody.
without further ado, Sai, give me your thoughts on Indian matchmaking, dude. Your first impressions. First give me a rating, and then your first impressions and thoughts.
Like out of 10?
Yeah, give me a rating out of 10, and then get into it. Why?
Well, in terms of entertainment, I'd probably say it was a fucking 4. Um, yeah, it was pretty boring, I thought. I think the character was interesting, but like, I think the show in general was just like, it was very repetitive because like, they would introduce some characters, kind of like show like their path and like whatever people that they met, and then they just kind of like repeated that cycle over and over again, you know? Like it just kind of felt, it didn't feel new like by the 6th or 7th episode. It just kind of like they were repeating it a bit.
Would you
So
rather deep dive into one marriage and like really go into it? Because marriage is like repetitive, right? You got to get a lot of people married. That's what I thought of the show.
yeah, true. Well, I think more drama would have made the thing more interesting. But they kind of went a little bit surface level on like a bunch of different couples. I think if they went more in depth, like 2 or 3, at least like have like maybe like 3 or 4 characters they could have gone in depth, you know.
Oh, so Aparna wasn't enough for you?
Okay,
Drama.
she was one character that was actually kind of interesting, that made me like frustrated like half the season. But
So entertainment wise, 4. What about overall series, just as a whole, everything included? Give me a rating.
yeah, I mean like a 6 maybe.
6. Damn,
Yeah.
kind of low.
What about you? What's your number?
I'm gonna say honestly, I'm gonna say 9. 9 out of 10. And
A
here,
9 out of 10?
listen to me. Listen to me. Hear me out. Here's why. Because I think this show was the most accurate representation of Indian culture on Netflix by far. And here's why.
Okay.
Never have I ever. Like Mindy Kaling, everything she does is for like brown people's version of no white people's version of brown people kind of deal, right? This was like straight up. This is what happens in India, dude. Like what they showed like good parts of our culture and the bad parts. So I thought this was the most accurate representation of a show, which is in the English language for Indians as a whole by far.
Okay, but I mean, yeah, accurate representation. I think you're right on that. But like, was it actually? Did you actually enjoy watching it? Like, if there was a season 2, would you watch it?
Oh yeah, for sure. So the thing was, you know how you reached out, you're like, we should do it on this, and
Okay. Yeah.
I didn't watch. I watched the first episode because I was kind of heated about it. The only reason I got into this because when this first came out, so many people like woke brown people were posting all shit about it, like how it's so bad or whatever the issues in it, and I was like, damn, I have to watch it now. And then you pinged me, so Sunday I binged it, and then binging it makes me like it less. But when I slept on it, and thought about it more this morning, I was like, dude, that was pretty entertaining. It was like,
Oh, did you have a
I
revelation?
what?
Did you have a revelation?
Yeah, revelation. Like honestly, I thought it was entertaining. This is what happens in our culture, happens in our family, happens back home. A lot of things. Yeah, obviously there were some things bad about it that came out of it, but I don't think you can be mad at the show for reflecting what the culture can be like, the good and the bad. So I think it did a great job of doing that. That's why I liked it a lot.
I don't even think it was fully representative of what happens in India. I think it's a lot worse. I feel like because first of all, they didn't even touch on caste, and I think caste is still an issue in India. Like people like a lot of families still look to like marry their like children through the same caste, which I don't think like that's cool. Like they show like very progressive in terms of like caste and stuff type families.
But don't you think that we've come a long way from that? It still happens, but less, don't you think?
I still think majority of India is still a lot of marriages do it by caste.
Majority? That's a hot take. Give me the stats on that.
I don't have stats.
You
Okay, yeah,
seriously,
maybe I don't know. I haven't been in India in like 9 years also.
the reason why I say that is because I think the last 4 times I've gone to India is all the weddings, and all my cousins had love marriages, like my generation.
Really
And all my cousins' parents come from arranged marriages, including my parents.
interesting.
So I think even within, like my oldest cousins, people older than me, like 10 years or so, they had love marriage. So I think it's changing. Maybe it might be different from your area. So tell me a little bit about your area, how that might be
Yeah,
different.
my family like so pretty much most of my cousins are married now, but all of them are arranged marriages.
Wait, these are your cousins your age.
Yeah, like I mean, I have one cousin that's like 13 years older than me. I have another one that's like 10 years. I have a couple like 2, 3 years older than me, like girls. They're already married, but they were arranged marriage.
Really?
Yeah.
So I think defining that is huge. What is tell me arranged what is arranged marriage in your eyes?
Okay, arranged marriage in my eyes is like you don't really know the person like before you start dating them, and like when you meet up because of your family.
Well, like family does the first.
Family does the first contact, and I feel as if people like get this mistaken sometimes. Like arranged marriage doesn't mean it's a forced marriage. Doesn't mean you have to like marry the person that your parents choose. But it's kind of like what they your parents would want you to marry. You know?
But dude, don't you think the show did a good representation of that? They talked like Seema, the matchmaker, talked about like in India, in arranged marriages is often like a marriage is a union of families. It's way more focused on compatibility, whereas I think the Western society here, it's way more focused on chemistry and love, those kind of things.
True. I think yeah, like as you said, like chemistry, love. That's like Western side, but in India, I think more on like family, like respect, and you also care about like what their other family members do for a living, like stuff like that. You know, what their family business is, or if they have one.
Yeah, true. Like it or not, that shit matters there. Like, and the bio data I think was like very accurate representation of what happens today.
Dude, that's like your online dating profile, almost like an eHarmony or something. You know?
Dude, yeah, one guy in the show was like Tinder Premium. It honestly is like that. It's
Yeah.
like all your stats, like your your height, your occupation, and all that shit. So I think that's. I mean, it does happen like that there, right? Was your cousin the same way? Do you
So
even play family at all, or?
so my cousin, like, I guess it was like like you know how like on the show, like everybody's like they kind of list out their like slim trim and like it has to be 5'6" and has to do something athletic or has to know about this. Like, I don't think it was as exaggerated as that, but it was more like obviously, I think it's very looks based, right? Because you're still seeing pictures of everybody, and my cousins obviously like within their options, I think they chose like somewhat based on looks, kind of, because that's like what you can like judge off. As long as they have like a job that's like good, as long as they're like from a somewhat like a good family, you're gonna pick on looks, right? So I think that looks aspect is, I guess it was like true for my cousins also on some aspect.
All things equal, looks. I think looks matter in general, but yeah, you're right. Maybe a little too much in that sense.
Well, yeah, for some of the people on the show, because they were like, he can't be shorter than me. He has to be at least 5'10" or above, or things like that. He remember Aparna, I think she said he cannot be a lawyer. She had that requirement initially.
Yeah, but being a lawyer, that's like a preference, though, right? Because height you can't change. Occupation is kind of different.
Yeah, but what's the problem with like why does the other person have to be a lawyer? Or like why does the other person can't be a lawyer when you're a lawyer? That's like super specific, don't you think?
Yeah, but you can have those. Like, would you be okay if you're like some people prefer someone their life partner being in the same profession, others don't, kind of deal. That's okay. But the height thing is like problematic in my mind, way more than like occupation.
Yeah, true. No, but the thing is, like, the lawyer's a good occupation, right? It's not like it's some like I understand if somebody was like a fucking like bartender or something. Like obviously, like family wouldn't probably accept that, right?
No, no, that's what I'm saying. I think the lawyer is a good occupation. She didn't want it because of the class, but she's a lawyer. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I mean, yeah. I guess I just don't understand like why you not. That's like saying if you're an engineer and whoever you're looking as an engineer, also you wouldn't want to marry. I don't. Yeah, it's just I don't know. I guess yeah. I guess it's preference, but
Some people have that. So then let's talk a little bit about the marriage there being compatibility. What are some of the things that you thought were controversial that came out of this? That you thought were like, oh shit.
well, just about like how specific everybody was. Like, so like apparently Aparna, she okay. First of all, I don't think I've ever seen a human being like Aparna. I kind of question if it was scripted or I mean, it's probably scripted, but because she was like, because remember when she said she was like, ever since I was 3, I've never made a bad decision in my entire life. I don't need to grow. I don't need to change. I'm perfect. Like, why would I ever have to change? You know?
Dude, I actually liked Aparna.
Yeah, of course you fucking would.
Wait, why didn't you like her? Because she was just so stubborn?
Dude, she was a fucking ding dong. Like, literally, like, she would, like, she would be so, like, she would basically be like, oh, no, no, I don't like him. Like, without even, like, remember, like, a couple times she was just like, no, it's not going to work. Or,
Well,
like, I remember with Shaker. Shaker was like the first guy that she was actually like kind of interested in, right?
Baker was boring though.
Shaker was a good guy though.
Yeah, but it's boring. I
So
don't blame.
do you want her to be a controversial guy or something?
No, no. I just think Aparna. She was like every show needs drama, right? And
Yeah,
exactly. And
that's
Aparna,
that's the purpose of Aparna.
yeah, and Aparna was that chick. Did you see? You saw the scene, right, where she walked out with her mom with like a dog in the stroller. Like she was that chick. She was like that big bad bougie, like baller. I
That's why
thought,
it feels like Aparna is super fake. I don't think she's like that in real life, to be honest.
well, probably. I mean, it's a show, right?
Yeah, true. But still, I don't know. I just didn't get good vibes off her.
No, the reason I liked her is because she was the villain of the show. A lot of things because I think the things that were problematic about her was like, hey, I have zero flaws and I like the decision stuff. Like she's never made a bad decision. Also came from her mom. So I think that was a big role in that too.
True, because I think like her dad left when she was young or something, right?
Yeah, so that could be
So I
part of it.
think yeah, her mom put like a lot of pressure. That's why like her and her sister are like super successful or something. Yeah, she's a lawyer, but she's like probably well into the 6 figures in sort of net worth, right?
Maybe. Oh, that's a good point though, dude. One thing I noticed, like when I was talking to my mom and dad, because they were watching with me for a little bit anyway, she all those families were like pretty loaded. A lot of the arranged marriages that happen in India now was is going to be a lot more simpler than that. These families were like elite families, and the matchmaker was like, I bet Simo was charging like a pretty big fee as well. So that's something to take into account. Like that's the thing I think with a great grain of salt. If someone watching this that doesn't know much about our culture,
No. Um. Wait, what'd you say with the grain of salt?
that these were like the elitists. Like these were a lot of the richer families.
Yeah,
Like
true. But
Pradhu,
dude, oh,
did you
go
see
ahead, go ahead.
Pradhuman? Did you see his house? Akshay, did you see his house? Uh, all
Oh,
those
Akshay was super rich. I didn't think Akshay. Okay, go ahead.
yeah, loaded. Like he had servants. All those like it was just different type of lifestyle.
No, but Pradyuman, yeah, I mean, okay, I think Pradyuman was on like another level because he owned like a jewelry shop or something, right? And if you looked at his closet and stuff, it has like a whole fucking like jeweler store in there. What is it? Yeah.
A walk-in closet of that. Because dude, I'll be honest. I in my family, like when I talk to my parents, I don't know if you've talked to your parents. Your parents were arranged marriage, right?
Yeah.
So my parents were arranged marriage as well. So I talked to them about this process and how it works, and like what you're saying, the compatibility. My mom was like 20 when she got married. My dad was like 24.
Wait,
And
what? Your mom was 20?
yeah, my mom was 20, 21 maybe.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, so she told me about this whole process, right? She says her reaction of watching the show was like, wow, we have progressed quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's what a lot of people miss in this. Well, like some of the issues that came up, like colorism and casteism or astrology, even any of the issues that people were like complaining about or like how they were regarded, like you have to like we hate admitting that, but we've come a long way. And if
Mm-hmm.
my father said that, like they've become so open-minded even in the last 50 years. Can you imagine like someone being married? Like my dad's uncle approached him like, I think it's time to get married. Let's go see a girl. And the family
Uh,
first. And my mom was the same situation right after she got out of school. Similarly. And they met and hit it off. And they think love is something you work or aspire to.
After marriage, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's the concept. And like my parents met once or like two or three times. How crazy is that? For them to watching the show in their perspective, they thought it was like a lot of progress has been made. We've changed quite a bit. So I thought that was interesting from my parents' perspective. So I would talk to your parents and see what they would think about
No, I
that.
know my parents were like similar kind of. I think my parents they only met once, and I think it was more like I think back in the day it was a more decision of the families of who you married. Like you know how like today there's so much independency. Like people can kind of like they have profiles to choose from.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like back in the day, it's like as long as the family's good, the guy or girl is like has a good job, then like as long as the families agree, like pretty much the marriage took place. I feel as if there was a bit of pressure put into the family, like put into the whoever's getting married, like back in the day, which is obviously not there. As probably your parents probably noticed that, right? I don't know if your parents felt that pressure, but I think like my parents on some level did, you know.
for sure. It was just kind of like it's something they just did, and it was done in society, which happens in India. Like you have this sort of like progression of life, right? And that's how my parents and they were like happy with the decision. That's what they said. That's what how it came out from my parents' side. But also, dude, I actually have a matchmaker in my family.
What?
In India, yeah.
You have a Sima Taparia in your family?
Not as obviously not as loaded, but he does it for like he does it for free, but he talks about like the whole process and how they work. It's like a union of families, exactly like you're saying. Like families meet first. The second meeting, they bring the guy and the girl, hey, do you want to go see each other? And then they hit it off. But he said like he gets a lot of insults even now if the marriage works out or doesn't work out kind of deal.
Uh-huh.
So I feel for Seema.
Dude, Sima in the entire season one, she didn't land a single couple for all
That's
that money that everybody's spending on her.
bro, that was the point though.
I mean, yeah, I
You know,
think they're trying to make the point that like marriage is it's what does Sima say? It's all up to heaven or something.
yeah, that she's bringing the matches down from heaven to the earth. But
Or
I think
yeah,
that not show any matches in season one kind of deal.
yeah, maybe I think yeah maybe on purpose. But I think if you look up all the people like what happened to them after season one, they're not with any of the partners that they were with during.
Oh, did you look that up?
Yeah, I did. Like Nadia was not with Shaker apparently. Like you know how Nadia and Shaker kind of hit it off.
Yeah, but she hit it off with everyone. She thought everyone was cute.
No, she didn't. She only
Chick,
saw two guys.
who?
She only met with two guys, Vinay and Shaker. Vinay's the guy that blew her off, and then Shaker was the lawyer.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Shaker was kind of boring. That's what I thought.
What? I thought he was a good guy. Like a good, like wholesome, like good-hearted guy.
So, where did you see this? Was this the final episode, like they released on YouTube, kind of deal?
No, I just like Googled it.
Oh, you dipshit.
And I actually looked at their Instagrams too. I think I looked at Nadia's and something about her and Shaker. I don't know.
Yeah,
They're not together anymore.
I bet you follow them, right?
Yeah,
Nadia.
I follow every single one of them because I really care about what happens in their lives.
So, I want to know, Sai, what did you think about like some of the backlash that the show got regarding this?
Well, I mean, I can understand how, like, from a Western audience, like, people can kind of see how, like, the marriage culture there is so superficial because you're looking at a piece of paper, right? you're making your decisions based on a piece of paper and their photo. So it's in that terms, I can see why people are very superficial. But the thing is, like, that's just kind of like the truth. What happens there, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's my take. So, I would disagree in a sense because I think, like I was saying, this show I think highlighted the good and the bad, and I think yes, we do have a colorism problem. I agree, it's fucked up. Like we need to get it's deeply rooted, but I think this has been a problem for a lot of cultures all over the world. So that's something I think on a global scale we're working toward. And caste system, I don't think caste system was mentioned that much, dude.
No, yeah, cast. Yeah, but I think that's unreal. That's the part where I think it's not realistic, or they didn't show that part, because I think caste is still plays a very major factor. Even though I haven't been in India in many years, I just still feel as if it is, you know.
No, that's actually a good point because caste, and originally the caste system was founded because it was based on a certain person's profession, right? Like the priests were a certain caste, the warriors were a certain caste, businessmen were a certain caste, but then it molded into this hierarchy. Now it's been corrupted. So what is your take on the caste system there in India?
I mean, obviously, I don't. It's pretty stupid, right? Like, there's no warriors left. There's no merchants. Like, that was the reason why caste was developed, right? To kind of separate everybody. But things like nobody even like those professions don't even exist. Like half of those professions don't even exist.
No,
And what?
uh,
Yeah, like obviously, and I think a lot of like the people like that go by caste like also value the what is it called? The astrology signs a lot, like the Taurus or
oh, it's called in Hindi. It's called kundli, but yeah, like the horoscopes, right? The
yeah
stars.
horoscopes. Yeah, horoscopes. That's what I meant to say. I think I don't know. Personally, for me, I don't really care about horoscopes. I remember like if you remember in the season, like remember that one the lady for what's his name? Visara? The guy that's like the counselor, the student counselor.
Yeah, yeah.
Vyasar.
I like them a lot.
Vyasar. Like she was telling him like, oh, you and this one girl are not gonna work out. And I feel as if it was kind of in their heads, and that's why they didn't end up working out. You know?
But she didn't tell him that,
No, she did tell him that.
did she?
I thought she did.
No, I don't think she did. I'm pretty sure that chick left him because of money.
No, that was an issue, but like
She literally was like, "I don't think you're ambitious enough," and
yeah.
that's indirectly what she was saying, which is messed up. But it happens. It honestly happens.
And honestly, I think that's a normal thing, dude.
That's
Like,
that's my take on it. It's like all these woke brown daisies being like, "Oh, this show is so problematic." Like, tell me a culture or a region or any area of the world where there's no bad. Tell me a culture that there's like Western culture. Is there? Can you pinpoint anything? Is it all good? Eastern culture, is it all good? Middle Eastern culture, European culture, is it all good? No, but like if you run away with this, like I 100% agree, colorism is a problem. The casteism is something we need to work towards. But people just painted the show in a light. I was like, don't get mad at the show. It's actually a depiction of society. I can still like my culture a lot and represent it, and still be like, you know what? That's something we lack in. So something we got to work towards.
well, I think that's why people are mad, right? Like that's what the backlash is there. Like, how come it's still an issue there?
Those people don't understand, dude. Have you been to India? If you've been to India and like you're well versed with your family, like I guarantee you, to a certain degree, this is plays a certain role there. I mean, dead serious. Like I've been involved with my families, and like what happens even in marriages today.
Yeah. Everything that they show in the show still happens a lot today, especially the colorism. Everybody wants like a fair and like for some reason like the lighter skin you are, the better looking you are, right? And in terms of Eastern culture.
Yeah, and I mean, it even happens here. We're just a little bit more progressive in that sense.
Wait, really? You think lighter skinned people are better looking in America? Or like you think people think that?
I think there is a notion. Fair skin is a notion. I think it's been a problem. Like the stigma around like fair skinned people are definitely as in terms of a beauty standard is definitely more attractive. I think it's all over the world, but it's very deep rooted in India. I will admit that that is definitely
No, that's true. But I don't think so much is here though, because why are there so many girls in tanning beds? Like people
No,
want to get darker, and there's
no, but
always the phrase of like, tall, dark, and handsome. You know?
no, that's true. But it's like that caramel color, right? People like the model color. Like people want that, like not too pale, not too dark kind of deal. That's a huge thing here. Like
No,
who are
no,
the people
no. I
tanning?
agree with that.
Who are the people tanning? Like the really pale white people, right? Like you and I don't go.
No,
Right?
yeah, no, no. True, yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not like the lighter you are, the better looking you are. That's my point. Or people
Oh,
don't view that.
oh, okay, yeah. So in that sense, yeah, we're definitely it's more progressive here, but yeah, it's definitely a thing.
No, but dude, sometimes people like even if they're not pale, even if they're like so they even if they're tan, they still tan to keep their tan or maintain or maybe get a little bit darker or something.
True, skin's a huge thing everywhere, but it's very deeply. I agree, it's very deeply rooted in the color aspect. So that's why I thought like this was a very accurate representation.
Mm-hmm.
What it is, dude, for us, like you were involved with your cousins. I'm involved with my cousins, the people that didn't do arranged marriages. Like you see how it is. The biodata, dude, those stats, people do pull up that shit. The family meeting does have all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
It's not like a white person perception of what an Indian person might be. Like how Never Have I Ever was. It was very Americanized in that way, don't you think?
Yeah. No, never have I ever. I think it was definitely Americanized.
So Mindy Kaling always is appealing to a certain type of audience. But this one, this is the reason I like that one.
It was like very accurate and like, oh, I see what you mean. They didn't. Yeah, I mean, I guess they held back on some things, but like cast and stuff, I don't think they touched cast enough.
Oh, so Sarika said it was upsetting to see the last girl say she wanted someone fair, expected from older generations, but I feel like our generation should be the one to change that mindset.
No, I definitely agree with that. You know, wait, that's someone fair. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Wait,
towards
what?
the I think the last girl that Stimo, she was like, "Yeah, I want someone fair skinned." I think she got a lot of backlash for that.
Was that
And
Richa?
huh?
Was that Richa, the girl?
Yeah. Richard, I think. And yeah, I agree. That's
Or
a
was it
shitty thing
Ankita?
we need to change. So that's why I think we've done a lot of good work regarding like the fair and cream, the lovely cream, right? You've heard of that, right?
Fair and Lovely, yeah.
We're trying to get like that was capitalizing on a lot of people's insecurities in that way, but that's something
But
definitely.
but dude, I guess like I don't know, like if you were looking like for a girl, like if you were looking for a girl, like I guess like what would you be your specifications?
Are you trying to be fucking Simonti for me?
No, but I'm just trying to like see like from our perspective, like would you be like, hey, just give me, I don't care about color at all, or would you like be like, oh, I need this person to be this shade or lighter, or this shade?
Do you really fucking think I would say shit?
Okay, that's not the way I worded it, but you know what I mean. Like
Oh,
you personally,
let's say if I was getting an arranged marriage, what would I say?
yeah,
No, dude, color. I mean, that doesn't attractiveness. Looks obviously do matter. First of all, I would get an arranged marriage if things were like pretty desperate. Let's say like I'm like 30 and still not married, and still getting pressure from my parents. That kind of deal. Like that's when I would get an arranged marriage. But if that was the case, I probably want someone American Indian here, someone who grew up here, but still pretty strong, culturally bound in a way, has a good essence of a culture. That would be important to me. Ooh, maybe conversing in Hindi, especially because like let's say if we go back to India, all my family talks Hindi there. So like that would be like a important part of me. I'm not saying requirement, but like someone may be willing to learn, and I'd be willing to learn someone else's language as well. So that'd be a thing. And like looks, obviously, like it's not a shitty thing to say. Looks do matter though. Like I
yeah,
would want attractive. I don't know how that would work in a range. Like, how do you think Tinder works? Tinder's all based on looks,
based on looks, yeah.
and then you have a lot of other things in that realm.
No, I mean like if you're talking like let's just say if you're talking to Seema Taparia from Mumbai, and like she was asking you for specifications, like what do you want a girl to be like?
Yeah, I would say I would want a smoking hot model. That's what I say.
I want a hot looking. I just want a model. Is that what you say?
Oh, that's tough. I mean, I would say someone attractiveness matters. Someone who's here and grew up here, like I was saying, culturally pretty sound. someone who appeals to me in that sense. But I wouldn't say like obviously it's shitty to say. I wouldn't say anything like skin or weight or like people say that a lot in India, and that's but obviously it's someone
Oh,
attraction is objective. It's not objective, right? So whoever's attracted to me is not attracted to another person. But I wouldn't be like, oh, why would I say Seema actually give me this patch, this skin color, and this shit? Like that's messed up. That's our responsibility to change that, right?
okay, true. Okay. You know how like we're thinking progressive like this, right? Like we have to change. Like, don't think about color. Don't think about like all this stuff. Like one thing I want to like ask ladies on this chat is like if like does like then height shouldn't matter either, right? Like so if you're a girl and you're like, oh, I want a guy that's like 5'6" or high, like 5'6" or taller. You know, if you're thinking that progressive mindset, don't you think like height shouldn't matter? Like shouldn't matter like if the guy's like an inch like as tall as you or maybe an inch shorter than you.
For sure.
Because like you can say as a preference, I want a lighter skinned girl. Like what's the difference between saying like I want a lighter skinned girl versus like a taller guy? You know,
Yeah,
both
they're
of them
really
are preferences.
no, but I feel like girls can put that as a preference. Okay, prime example of this, Ankita. You remember Ankita in New Delhi?
Yeah.
She was awesome. She was like progressive, business oriented. She has her own business. She was very like independent,
Mm-hmm.
strong. Like yeah, and then she was like, I want a guy taller than 5'6". I was like, you. And if I said anything regarding a weight, like if I listed a weight, I was like below 150 pounds on my
Yeah, you'd
biography.
be crucified.
Exactly.
You would be
So
crucified. Yeah.
I was like, yeah, Ankita was being kind of hypocritical in that sense.
Yeah, but yeah, true. Like I think what she's, but that's the thing, right? If we're trying to get away, like be like our generation, like if we're trying to be more progressive in a sense where we forget about the color, we forget about like I don't know what else like physical like weight, height, like weight and stuff. Like I feel like the height thing should also be like forgone, also, right?
True, but the shitty part is it just isn't.
Yeah, like obviously, like as human beings, we're gonna have like some sort of preferences, whether it's to do with skin color or height or like weight, you know.
No, that's true. I guess that's exemplified in. But the question there is, I guess people asking would be, how is that exemplified and how does that come out? Is that based on your programming? Just like, what do you believe to be beautiful? Kind of deal, right?
I think it's like similar to what you look like, right? Like like let's just take Pradyuman for example. He's probably like a good like I would probably say in India a lot of girls probably think he's good looking, right? Because he's rich, he's light skinned, he's like he looks fit, I think.
Oh, he fits the model of like a good-looking character.
Yeah,
Good
a
look.
good looking guy. Like he and you saw like after all the profiles he saw, like he's so picky about like um he's so picky about like who he wants to see. Like when Seema showed him that one model, that's when he was like, oh, now you're showing me good people, right? Remember
Yeah,
that?
but he can do that because he has the options.
Yeah, true.
Because he's someone like okay, let's be honest. Like Pradyuman versus Vyasar. Vyasar was like the genuine awesome guy. Like he was my favorite character on the show.
Mm-hmm.
But since he didn't fit the model per se of like an attractive looking person, and which I guess society does model someone like Pradyuman and his build and stature to
Mm-hmm.
be Vyasar, is why Pradyuman had like 50 offers, while Vyasar
Yeah,
had
like two or three. Yeah.
yeah. That's what you're saying, right?
Mm-hmm. But I guess like Pradyuman, like standards of beauty is what I'm trying to say is like it's similar to kind of like what your body, like what you look like.
Oh yeah, I would probably agree.
Like
That's a
if
good.
you, like Vyasar is probably like yeah he's not like a he's I mean like obviously everybody's preferences are different, but he's probably more termed as unattractive compared to Pradyuman in terms of like
Oh, I hear you. There's another comment here. In my opinion, Sarka says, I don't like it when people emphasize height either, but people have been treated inferior because of skin color, not really in height though. Oh, I feel about that a certain way. What do you think?
so people have been treated inferior because of skin color, but don't you think like because of height, like short guys like I guess like what does she mean by inferior? Like less like if you're dark, you're ugly.
It's discriminated against, and I think it's happened to a lot of short guys too. I see it a lot anyway.
Wait, what did you say? Intimidated?
No, discriminated
Oh,
against.
discriminated against. Like black people. Oh, like if you're darker skin.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I think height, because I have short friends, and they like when they hit on people, they're like, "Ah, you're too short." People have actually legitimately said that, and girls do say that, and just like guys say certain things too. It's not just like one gender or the other, but like this is something that happens in society and people. But I do think that the height emphasized is I'd have to disagree with Sarika. I think it happens a lot more than
I think height are more like I don't know. I think in the States, at least in my experience, I don't think color is as big of a deal. Like because like dark skinned people are deemed attractive in the United States, I would say. Because look at like all the NBA athletes, you know, or like any type of like it's mostly like black people, right? And they're dark skinned. It's not like they're not deemed attractive.
Wait, where are you comparing to though? India?
Yeah, in India, where a dark person would like not be thought of as attractive, probably. I'm not speaking for everybody, but you know.
Oh, less attractive society. But how are you comparing an NBA player to that? NBA player is like a baller. Are you comparing yourself to James Harden? Obviously, he's status.
Yeah, but don't you think like I mean not even NBA players like people even like regular like I don't think being darker skinned in America it's a disadvantage. You see what I mean?
But wouldn't you? But wouldn't isn't that what the entire movement of Black Lives Matter is? That's due to the skin color.
Yeah. No, I know. Like I'm not saying there is no discrimination at all, but I'm talking about in terms of like attractiveness. Like do you really think a black guy is a disadvantage because he's darker
No, I
in
think
America?
wording it poorly. You're saying skin color is not highly as regarded as it might be in India regarding
Yeah.
what spectrum
In
you
India.
fall. Yeah, you're not saying, but yeah, people do face discrimination for skin color, but it's
For
yeah.
different reasons, I guess, yeah.
Let's be honest. Actually, yeah, I agree with that. What would you say about another thing that you thought was kind of critical in that show regarding a double standard for maybe women or men, both,
Oh, double standards?
or
Yeah, I
something?
guess like wait, what?
Some things you thought that were hypocritical.
Hypocritical? Yeah, I think um well, yeah, the way that Ankita was like taller, you know, I think the height thing kind of bothered me about her because, you know, I don't think guys really have that like preference or physical like requirements of a girl because it's not like, oh, she has to be 5'2" or above or 5'5" or above, you know.
Yeah, they do though. Guys care about looks.
On height?
Okay, not height, but other things. I think it goes both ways.
I mean, it's not like a guy can be like, "Oh, I want her to have a curvy ass, or else I'm not gonna go." Like, you know, you can't ask that on a dating pro, like for
Guys,
like arranged marriage.
guys do that though.
They ask for a she has to have a C cup and a curvy ass. Is that what they ask for arranged marriage, or something like that?
You're saying
No,
arranged
right?
marriage. No,
Yeah, I'm
but
talking about arranged marriage. Like,
wait, what are you saying? Say that again.
no, I told you like Ankita, like it's a little hypocritical that she's having that height requirement, right? But I just feel as if guys don't have that height requirement. They're not like, oh, she has to be 5'6" and above.
Oh, but and you're
Like it's
saying
not as big of an issue, you know?
comparison to just height. But oh, let's say like Nidhi said a point, like that's a double standard. Praduman saw 150 people, but oh, he's just picky. Well, Aparna saw as many people, less people, and then she was kind of picky as well. But yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I'm saying. Right? Stark and all of them, like all guys think like that too. Like you want a curvy, beautiful woman. What's the standard for a beautiful woman in
yeah, true.
society? They, they,
But do you
they,
have? But do you have? Okay, I don't think any guys like, oh, she needs to be curvy, or else I'm not gonna go for it, right? Because that's a bit too superficial, don't you think?
walk around some bars and.
Okay, dude, I'm not talking about in a bar setting.
Oh, you're
I'm
saying.
talking about
Oh,
from arranged marriage like setting. They don't have on the bio data. Oh, I'm curvy.
well, that's what the picture's doing, though, right? That's what they're discreetly doing. No one's running curvy, or no one's running jacked muscles like the guys are. But like looks is the first thing that attracts. Maybe that's what a lot of the characters are doing. The looks, maybe, and then they're seeing them in person, then seeing about personality. Because attraction is, I mean, physical and emotional and mental connection, attraction, all those things matter in my opinion.
No, no, for sure. Like, I think, yeah, the physical has to be there first, I think. And then you develop, at least in terms of arranged marriage, and then you develop that emotional connection, right?
Jote said many guys ask the matchmaker for slim, tall, and fair.
Okay.
Yeah, it did, and that's physical, right? Just
Yeah,
like
true.
women.
Yeah, I guess like both of them, like yeah, guys were asking for slim, tall, and fair, and then girls also had that like height preference. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think guys asking for slim is like if we're to completely like let go of like this sort of physical trait specification, like we would have none of those like adjectives, right?
You don't think slim is equivalent? Are you saying slim is not equivalent to height?
No, slim is equivalent to height because it's a physical adjective, right? You're describing the person.
Yeah, body figure. Wait, but slim.
I mean, asking for someone slim, that's also kind of like you can't really. I mean, people do that, but it's not like. I guess you're like you're looking for somebody's like curvy, like same thing or something like
Okay,
that.
people going off right now. Like Praduman would never go for Ankita. Like, and I guarantee you, Nidhi wouldn't do the same either. The other way around.
That's true. Yeah, I agree with that. It goes both ways.
Yeah. So Nidhi, okay, Nidhi, would you go for Vyasar? Yeah, it's just you can give an example like that, but it's just different. It's a lot of things in play. You can't decide what's attractive to someone and not attractive to another. But in
Mm-hmm.
society, usually that are attractive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Watch. Yeah. There we go. LOL. Okay. So what do you think about? So talk to me about Akshay.
Oh yeah, this guy. Okay, so this guy is literally like, I want a girl that's exactly like my mom, and he's just been so sheltered. I could just tell, like, he's just been so sheltered. He's probably never like even talked to a girl like in his entire school career. Yeah,
Yes.
you could tell how awkward he was when he was talking to that girl, who's so pretty, by the way. What's her name?
Oh, his cousin.
No, not his cousin.
Oh,
No,
the
the
actually.
girl, the actual girl. Like
Oh,
he couldn't really hold a conversation.
the Radhika. Yeah, Radhika. Oh,
Radhika, yeah, that's her name.
but I think they represented that well because that shit is awkward. It's very awkward when parents meet and kids are there. Like it's a very awkward situation.
Not really. I mean, like, remember like the Vyasar
Yeah.
when
So let me put you. Let me put you in. Okay. If I'm your matchmaker, let me put you in a situation you never met before, and your parents, everyone around, and you're like helping out, and it wouldn't be awkward for you.
like if the girl and her family are there.
Yeah, with your family and you.
No, that would be awkward. No, I don't think
Bro, you
that'd be
want
awkward.
awkward people I know? You're telling me that wouldn't be awkward for you?
No, I think I'd be pretty chill at it. Pretty
Oh
chill
yeah,
about it.
gotta get set up, huh? That's what you're trying to say.
No, but no. Okay, look. Do you remember Vyasar when? Because the girl met Vyasar's family also, right? Do you
Yeah,
remember like how like smooth it was? Because Vyasar's like a very outgoing person.
true. Vyasar's outgoing, and he has a good personality. Akshay, to be honest, I would rather watch paint dry than listen to him talk. But definitely, there are people like that as well, who've been very sheltered. So I think that was a good way of showing like an example of people who could be like that as well.
No, that's true. But I hope people don't think like all Indian guys are like that. Like they're not like. I feel as if a portion, like yeah, obviously there might be a lot of people there that, oh, I want someone like my mom, or they've been very sheltered for their entire life, or like talking to girls in school is like taboo or something, or dating is taboo.
That is kind of that is because of their culture and marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Character was.
What'd you say?
You know who my favorite character was?
Who?
You know
Yeah, upper now. Yeah, upper now is east.
The
Go ahead.
Punjab for Rupam in Denver?
Oh,
Dude, he was so funny because he was such a like a funny Punjabi uncle. Because his daughter was divorced, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And Seema auntie brought him another candidate who was also divorced, and then he was like, "No," even though his daughter was divorced. Judgment.
Oh, but dude, okay, that was actually another hypocritical thing I found because so the Rupam, the girl, she was divorced because of her husband committed infidelity, right? But that guy is actually from their community. He was Sikh also. Like you would think that that's like he would be a good boy. He wouldn't do any of that. But then when she shows him the other guy and he's divorced, but he's technically like not from their community. I don't think he was Sikh either. But then he was like,
No,
"Oh yeah, no, he's divorced." You
but you
know?
know the uncle's reasoning for that, right? He was like, "Who? How did the other guy's marriage go?" And the other guy's marriage, and he was like, "Oh, he married an American." He's like, "Ah, I knew it."
That's funny.
I thought it was funny. I liked him. He was just being like a dad. I know it was a little hypocritical, but you can get, I mean, a little
But
overprotective.
dude, I don't know. No, I can understand from a father's perspective. You don't want your daughter, like obviously when your daughter's been divorced, like you want to make sure like the next person that she's with is gonna be the right one, right? And then
Yeah.
she doesn't want it to be he doesn't want it to be a repeat with her if she's marrying another divorced person. But dude, honestly, like you know when he was asking what was it Seema about like what happened in his past life. I
Yeah.
can honestly like I totally understand why he's asking that because he wants to know the reasons of why they divorced. Like he wants to make sure like it's not a repeated occurrence in his daughter's life, you know? And they were
Yeah.
kind of brushing it off like, oh, we shouldn't worry about the past life. And I agree with that with some extent.
True. Past is the past. But yeah, him wanting to know, he was just pretty judgmental when, when his own daughter was she was divorced too. I thought that was just funny. That was the funniest part of the show for me.
No, yeah, yeah. No, that guy. But no, but for her case also it was super hard for her to find someone also because she's, divorced. She has a kid. And I just think like people in India it's harder for them to not I don't want to say generalize, but like it's kind of like divorce is taboo, right?
Yeah. In our society, definitely.
Especially when she has a kid.
Yeah. I mean, that was true what Seema was saying. It's harder for her to get a partner because a lot of, even in any society, right, people would be less receptive to that with someone with a kid, right?
Yeah,
Like,
even in our society, I think it's hard. It's hard to like love someone, like look past all that, even though you know that it's somebody else's.
no, I hear you. So, Sai, give me your thoughts on arranged marriage. Like, would you consider it?
Yeah,
You would?
yeah, I would consider it. Like if I was, I mean, probably like not now, or like maybe like give me like 6 years or 7 years.
So, ladies, a little secret. The only reason Sai came on for this episode is so I could set him up with someone in the comments. So,
You're so fucking stupid.
so ladies, fire away.
you are you're literally so dumb.
Wait, no, actually, so you're open to it. Why 6 years from now? Why not now? Are you so you would
Because I'm
look?
fucking 24.
Wait. So you would look for someone till in those 6 years, and then what? And then you would like a last resort kind of deal.
Yeah, I think it would be like more like a last resort. Like if I don't find someone by 30. But thing is, like I don't know. Like since see you speak Hindi, right?
Yeah.
Like I just feel as if a lot of girls from that Indian ancestry or from India, they speak Hindi. Like they know how to speak Hindi.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
for me, I don't understand Hindi at all. I don't watch Bollywood movies. I'm not really like I don't know. I didn't grow up learning it because my parents didn't know it either. Like I speak Tamil,
Yeah, true.
and I just feel as if it's harder to find like a Tamil girl if not for like arranged marriage. But it's not like I'm saying I need to find a Tamil girl. But like I think like for my parents it would be like an added bonus, because I would like my parents and my future wife to talk in our native language.
No, I hear you, dude. Same, straight up. Like people can say like, "Oh, you're so old school." Like, no, I want that. Like To talk to my grandparents, my family in India, that's huge. I would like that. That's
Exactly.
something.
Like I talked with my extended family, and that's what did. This is like I don't know. I guess in my experience, just I just don't see that many Tamil girls. Maybe I'm just living in the wrong part of town, but
Oh yeah, Phoenix is. Wait, where's the town in Arizona?
I live in Chandler, which is close to Phoenix. But you know what I'm trying to say? Like it's
Yeah,
not
it's
like there's
hella.
Tamil girls like walking outside
Oh, that I.
my house.
So you're saying from because I'm from North India, I might have a bigger pool. Where
Exactly.
you,
You have a bigger pool. Like you can find an Indian girl, like date, have a love marriage, and it'll be fine because she there's like probably over 70% chance that she speaks Hindi.
no,
Because so
that's
many
actually
people speak Hindi that come like that have Indian ancestry. I think.
no, that's true. It is the by far probably the most common language. But as far as like, what else is part of your criteria? Could you date someone who like grew up in India? Let's say
Oh,
matchmaker, and you gave me a criteria. Could you date someone who grew up in India instead of here or somewhere else?
I mean, I think I would prefer someone who grew up here, but dude, I don't know. Like, I guess I would have to talk to the person. I don't want to make any like assumptions before I actually like talking to the person, you know.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's like a different culture almost. Like when we grew up here, because we're like basically American almost. I feel like it's like we're American, but we have some like Indian traditions and values. But I just feel as if like the culture there is not like we don't. I feel as if it's very progressive over there too. You know,
No, definitely changing.
it's definitely changed a lot.
Yeah, and Girja's asking my criteria. My criteria is her, literally. What a stupid question. But continue. So what else? What else would you look for? Do,
Um,
oh, actually, back up. You watching the show? Why are you more perceptive of the idea of arranged marriage?
like open to it.
Yeah, why are you more open to it?
Um,
The Tamil, besides speaking Tamil and having a lesser pool per
I
se.
mean, it's not like I have to find a girl. Like if I find a girl who just speaks English is fine.
Yeah.
Like it's not like a deal breaker. But I mean, yeah, I guess like for my family to talk with my parents and like my extended family and my cousins, things like that. If we have a wedding in India, like everybody there is gonna be like I guess they'll be my part of the family, her part of the family. It'll be like it's kind of nice when everybody can just speak in Tamil. I guess that part. But for me personally, if I really had to like, besides the family part, I don't think I'd really care.
Really? Could be anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, honestly, I think the big part I think a lot of people don't touch up on is like the culture part is very important to me. It's just something like you sync easier with. Not saying other people can't, and it's very doable. It's just it's difficult. It's more difficult to do so. Doing it like a very big blend of culture or even interracial marriages, like that's awesome if people can do it, but those are challenging. That's what I see them as.
But you mean by culture like an Indian girl, right?
Well, yeah, someone who culture being like specifically my culture, like an American Indian, like
Oh,
you know what I mean?
but so you wouldn't even give like a girl in India who grew up in India a chance?
I don't know. It's just I grew up here, half of my life here. Like culturally, I'm a mix in the sense in that way, right? So for me, it would be most. I would love to find someone in that culture, someone who grew up here,
I mean, yeah,
but
but would you be open to it?
who's also very willing to like go to India and these things because that's a big part of my life as well. I would be open to it, but I would prefer to find someone like that. That's what I just think.
Yeah, me too. I think I fall in the same category.
Do you want to be married? What is your optimal marriage age then?
Like 30 to 32, maybe.
You?
Maybe like 28 to 32 range.
That's old
Yeah,
for
I
us.
don't know. Like maybe like 30 to 32.
Wait, have your parents talked to you about marriage?
No, not really.
What do you mean not really? So they've shifted the idea a little bit. Sent you a couple pictures, some biodata.
No, no, no. They've never like we've never looked up any girls or like they've never even like even mentioned really anything serious. It's more like cause I'm still like 24, right?
Yeah, I mean you should get
I think
married.
maybe like in a couple of years. I don't know about your parents. They'll probably start looking in a couple of years, right? Like 2, 3 years or four
Yeah,
years.
that's what I think is crazy because like from what my parents and how they got married, they're so open minded in today's day and age. Like within a
Really?
generation, how open minded they've become. Yeah, my parents like yeah, take your time. It's a big decision, 29, 30, and whatever. They don't have really any. But I don't know. That might change. Maybe if I'm like 26 and my mom's like feeling the pressure, if like you and a bunch of my other friends are getting married, she might
Exactly, right? Like, I think my parents would feel that pressure also, but I mean, I guess like, what's your optimal age?
Dude, I don't know. My dad had a heart to heart regarding like he got married at 24, 25, right? So he told me about like the pros of getting married young. And now like me, I'm 23, my brother's 19, and my parents haven't even hit 50 yet. So he told me the pros and cons of it from his perspective. And I've talked to people who've married a lot later too, like my neighbors actually.
Mm-hmm.
Different perspectives, different things, and like what you want out of life first initially. Works both ways though. I don't know. I think I would be 27.
27? Oh,
Yeah,
that's pretty early.
used to be later, but it depends. 27, 28, why not? I'm handsome for 30. And after 30, dude, it's all downhill.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I don't want to get married
Dude,
at 30.
men don't even reach their prime until like their mid-30s.
Bro, what are you talking? Prime in what? Physical prime?
Yeah, physical prime.
It's 25. You're about to hit it. Better use it
No,
up.
dude. I think like, actually, yeah, maybe 30.
35? Are you smoking? 35.
I mean, no, okay, maybe like 32, 33.
Dude, where do you read these stats?
Okay, maybe for some people, like, yeah, 25 is their prime, but like, no, if you still keep in shape or like exercise and do all that, dude, you can extend your prime for so long into your mid to late 30s.
Yeah, what are you, LeBron James?
No, I'm talking about like, not in terms of, yeah, if you work out and stuff, like as long as you just like basic workouts, keep yourself slim and trim, dude, you can extend your prime.
Bro, you sound like C-Monty now. Yeah, you. I feel like biodata would say that.
Yeah, I would be like exactly like everybody else. I want someone slim, trim, and fair.
But all right, dude. We got 3 more minutes because because it kicks me off at exactly an hour. So give me your final thoughts. Anything you want to leave us by?
No. I mean, like, yeah, just yeah, I don't have much. Except like, like we're all gonna like we're the generation that's gonna set this progressive movement to change our mindset, right? To not have like this like where we have to be like, oh, I want someone slim, trim, and fair.
No, I agree. And people getting offended at that, like I understand like some of the things that came out of colorism, those things are problematic, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
But words, but like don't diss an entire culture because of 1, 2 things you didn't like, kind of deal. That's where I stand with the show. So that's why I give it a high rating. I would recommend anyone else watching who hasn't seen the show, go watch it. And thank you so much for coming on, bro.
Thanks for having me, bro.
All right, dude. Have a good night.
Good night. Thanks.
Bye.
See ya.
Not gonna give me a kiss back?
Huh?
Not gonna give me a kiss back?
No. Thanks.
What a shitty friend. See you, bro.
See you, bro. See ya.
All right, guys. Well, that was episode 15. I will have this out on all platforms. And please let me know your thoughts on the show. If you disagree with me or side on anything, please reach out. And as always, this will be out on all platforms. Thank you all. Have a good night.